Today we're going to be going over the mystery of my newly found Evil Dead 2 Necronomicon Replica. So, a little while ago, I did that video about the Trick or Treat Studios Necronomicon replica that came out a few years ago. I did a fun little video about modding it, revamping it, reshaping it, and just making it overall, in my opinion, much better than what you get out of the box when you buy those brand new. That was a passion video for me because I spent months researching how to revamp those books and how to remake them and how to repaint them and reshape them and all the stuff that I showed in that video. It was a long time. It was quite a few months of research and talking to other prop makers and collectors of the Evil Dead community, as well as making friends with those who love to tinker and dabble with modding, store-bought props. It was a lot of fun, and I'm so happy I made that video. I put it up because the whole point of me doing these videos on YouTube is to exchange information. It's nothing really that I come up with. It's just an exchange of information among other collectors or prop builders or costumers or musicians, whatever I'm doing a video on. That's all it really is. The whole point of me making these videos and posting them online is simply these are the type of videos that I would want to watch, and stuff that the information that was really hard for me to find, I want to make it easier for the next guy who's going to look for the same information. Rather than spending 3 or 4 months research, he can just watch one video and get everything done in one shot. And I think I accomplished that in that video. That video to this day is the most views I got. I think I'm up to just over 11,000 views. It's the most comments. It's the most likes. It's the most active video on my channel. I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful for the other Evil Dead fans out there who wanted to, who bought that book from Trick or Treat Studios and they wanted to learn how to repaint it and remodel it and reshape it. I'm very happy that I was a big help for a lot of you guys, and thank you so much for hitting me up. People have been, the amount of comments around that video. I try to answer every single comment about any questions that people have about ideas and about paint, about, how to approach these types of things. And I try to make it overall easier for the next guy to do it. I hate to say it, every time I'm on there, I'm always answering comments. I'm always answering questions that people have in the comment board. I rewatched that video a lot. And since then, I have sold the book. Unfortunately, I sold it locally to a local comic book shop who I know the owner and the guys who work down there. And it was a quick buck. I needed the money at the time. Usually when I build props, I put something together and I put something out there, even guitars. When I build a guitar, I usually sell it not that long after I complete it. It's a constant cycle. It's a constant financing the next project. And I sold the book regretfully. Every time I watch that video, I look back at the footage that I shot of that book and I'm like, man, that looks really good. I did a really good job in that book and I was really proud of it. And I instantly had regret selling it. It really drove me nuts for quite a long time, for quite a few months, getting rid of that thing. And of course, I sold it to a comic book shop that's really, really popular, really, really widely known online. And I think they probably either sold it locally or they sold it online very quickly. Like the day that I sold it to them, within 2 days later, someone bought it. So where the book is today, I have no idea. I'm sure it's in a good home. I really regret getting rid of the thing. I should have held on to it because I love Evil Dead so much. I love that prop specifically so much. Every Evil Dead movie, every TV show that we've had, the remake, the video games, everything about it is it comes back to the Necronomicon. It's a very important prop, in my opinion, horror history. So just recently, I decided, you know what? I'm going to do it again. I'm gonna make another one. That was so much fun to do, and that was such a fun video to make. And I wanted to do it all over again. I want to get another book from Trick or Treat Studios. I wanted to do the same modifications, the same paint job, the same everything that I did to the last one. And maybe I would even take it even further. I started pre-planning my next book. I wanted to add more pages to it because quite frankly, I feel like that book is such a great replica, something great for any collector of Evil Dead fans. It needed more pages, though. It didn't have enough pages at all. It had, a couple pages that are pretty iconic, but you can count on two hands, I think, how many pages. I forgot how many pages are on that book, but it needed more. in my opinion, if you wanted to take it further and make it more movie accurate. And I wanted to add more pages. I wanted to add more pages from Evil Dead 2, Evil Dead 1, the remake. I wanted to add pages from that. I wanted to add pages from Ash vs. Evil Dead, the TV show. I wanted pages from all aspects of the franchise. Talking to a few other fans, a few other prop builders that I've spoke to, years ago when I did the first book, it was all coming together, pre-planning the whole thing. Even since to this day, it's hard to find those books. It's really hard to find the Trick or Treat Studios Necronomicon. Not only it's hard to find, but I rarely ever pay full price for anything that, of the such. I'm always a sucker for a coupon or a deal or buy a pre-owned or a trade that I would do. I was on the hunt badly to get a new book, and I was looking, and I found a couple reasonable offers through Facebook, but nothing that really grabbed me to the point where I was like, okay, I got to get this now before the deal's closed. Quite frankly, I went to eBay. eBay is still to this day a great source to find used props. I was looking at broken books, books that have been ripped and torn. The latex was bent out of shape, or it had some issues with it, and some online horror stores will discount them. I was looking at those for quite a bit until I found an eBay listing for this. This is an Evil Dead 2 Necronomicon replica, obviously, but it's not a Trick or Treat Studios. It's actually a complete mystery. I have no idea who made this book. When I found this book on eBay, the pictures looked fantastic. The pictures look incredible. You posted a couple pictures of the pages, the front and the back. I said, wow, that's really, really good work. And I wanted to know where the book came from. So I screenshot a couple pictures of the book, and I posted it on the Facebook groups that I'm a part of, all the other fans and prop collectors that are out there. And I said, does anybody know who made this book? Anybody know who recognize possibly who put this together? Nobody had an answer. Nobody had anything. My next step was I messaged the guy who had the eBay listing. I said, hey man, can you tell me more about the book? I'm really interested. Who made it? Where'd you get it? Did you make it? So forth. And he was a owner of a comic book store out in the middle of the country, middle of nowhere. He did not know who made the book. Someone sold him the book at his comic store. Sold it for cash. Has no idea other than that. The guy who sold it to him did not mention who made it, or if he made it or such. I mean, there was no information about it at all. But I was really curious because I'm like, man, this book, and he was asking a very good price for it. It was cheaper than buying a Trick or Treat Studios book before all the modifications and before all the work done to it. And I was really like, wow, this thing is really, you hooked me. Now I'm interested. Now I want to know. I want to know what's going on with this thing. And of course, he had an asking price, and I was messaging him back and forth for a good week. And I said, would you consider anything lower? He goes, well, make me an offer. We went back and forth on a few offers until we came up with a number that we were both comfortable with. Lo and behold, I sent him an official offer through eBay, and he accepted. He shipped it on over to me. And it was a birthday gift actually to myself. I sold off a bunch of guitars. I sold off a bunch of stuff. I decided to treat myself for my birthday, which was going to be a new Necronomicon that I was going to make and put together. Instead, I got this guy. When it came in the mail, it blew my mind. It was like, this is way more than I thought it was going to be, than how it appeared in the pictures and what I was told by the eBay listing. And quite frankly, I could not be happier than my purchase. I gambled on it. I took a gamble. I had no idea what was going to show up, how big it was. I should have asked those questions before I went ahead and purchased it, but I was excited. I was like, man, this thing looks really, really good. It's a damn well-made replica from what I saw. And I took a gamble on it. I paid the guy, showed up at my house, and I was blown away by the amount of details and the amount of passion that someone put into making this book. And I'm still to this day completely clueless about who made this book. And I've since then posted more pictures and more videos among all the communities of all the Evil Dead collectors, of all the horror prop collectors in general. No one has given me an answer. And there's a couple parts of the book that people assume that it came from certain artists and certain makers. A couple pages in here came from certain artists, but it was just It wasn't for certain. It's a mystery. And that's what I kind of like about this book the most. Instead of, making a new Trick or Treat Studios book, getting down nitty gritty all over again, making a new book and then taking it further, adding more pages and referencing more than just the one film, I took a gamble and found a book that had all those features that I already pre-planned in my next build. So I'm very, very happy with this thing. It's definitely, obviously it's made of latex. It's very, very tough. It's a very, very hard book. The latex is very, very well done. It's very, very firm, very, very, it's almost like a clay. It's like a clay latex. There should be clay underneath them. But it's very, very textured. It's very, very, it's not flat at all. Not like the Trick or Treat Studios book. It's very, very much like an old ancient handmade book. Very, very thick. The cover and the back, these guys are very, 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 very thick, very puffy, and I like that. The pages are small. The pages are pretty small. However, they're just the right amount of size that it works with the book. I want to say this book is overall a little bit smaller than the Evil Dead 2 Trick or Treat Studios release. But I like that. I like the size of this book because, even in Evil Dead 2, the book was changing in size almost every scene practically. And it is flat compared to the Trick or Treat Studios one that I modded. But, looking back at the films now, watching the films almost over and over and over again, comparing it to this book, I realized that, there's plenty of scenes in that movie that it is flat. It is pretty flat. It's a flat, you can barely see the pages. So whoever made this book actually nailed that look. It's just over. The paint job is really, really well done. The face was clearly hand sculpted. It was hand shaped. And the back of the book, the ear is full size. Yes, it does have a bit of a gloss to it. It has a bit of a gloss in the finish. Even with my lighting here, you can kind of see the shine. However, that works for me too, even though I prefer the flat look. But this works. This works very, very well. When you open it, it's tough. It's very, very tough. I love the fact that it's made from an actual book and the cover is stitched in. Someone actually kind of, they went a whole Leatherface aspect for this guy. And they stitched it in and they sewed it in by hand almost. The cover was wrapped around and then sewed in by some rope. But it's really, really well done. It's pretty tough actually now that I'm playing with it right now. This latex is very, very tough. The pages are so well done. I am very, very blown away by this whole thing. And, I asked him, I said, how many pages are in it? And he says, it's about maybe 25, 30. And then I sat and it's 40 pages. It's 40 pages. And every single page is a reference to a scene of the movie that you've seen before. It's either in Evil Dead 2, Evil Dead 1, or it's in the remake. There's a lot of remake pages in here. And there's pages from the Ash vs. the Evil Dead TV show, which is really, really cool. It's everything that I was already planning on putting into my next book. Quite a few of these pages I cannot show. I don't think I should show on YouTube here because for obvious reasons. What I'm really, really happy with is that there's a few pages in Evil Dead 2, between Evil Dead 2 and Army in Darkness. It's just you have to have. This page is really, really well done. This is a reference to Army in Darkness, obviously, and Evil Ash is coming through. Quite a few references to the remake, the other page over here. The way that there's the warning signs someone wrote in. I like that. I think it's pretty awesome. Am I the biggest fan of the remake? Not really, but it's a cool looking book. I'm not gonna lie. It was a good film. It's a good watch, but does it capture the same feel and the essence of the Evil Dead franchise? In my opinion, not really. I don't think so. Great page. It's a great reference to Evil Dead 2 there. The one that's actually from the movie, though, I believe, is this guy. This guy is really, really well done. That's a huge scene in Evil Dead 2 that you have to have. So, this stuff is it's so well done. It's really, really well done. The one page that's so important, I believe, to the whole franchise, I think it's probably the most important page of all the Evil Dead films, of all the books, is going to be this guy. I mean, that's the hero page of, referencing the scene of Evil Dead 2 when, they're referencing about what's soon to come when Ash travels back in time, the medieval Dead era, if you will. But that's just, you have to have that page, in my opinion. And why that page isn't featured in the Trick or Treat Studios book, I don't know. But this is such a well-made book. Every page is really, really well done. And not just it's well done, but the artwork, the colors, the paints is so, so precise. It's really, there's actually bloody fingerprints on this one. There's actually, some story in that. What really kills me as I flip through these pages, the edges of these pages are burnt. Whoever made this book actually burnt them. Which a lot of people do in their Necronomicon replicas. However, that's some dedication there. That's some strong dedication. I don't trust myself to actually burn a prop to make it that authentic. I've always cheated it. I've always painted it, or I've always textured it to make it seem like it was burnt. But this was actually burnt, though. I mean, you can tell by flipping through the pages because a little piece of the page, the crispiness will actually break off, and that's actually on my thumb right now. My hand is actually covered in like a black, like dust, like a black charcoal. So I mean, this is so well done. This is such a great book. As an Evil Dead fan, it's everything that you want as a prop collector, Evil Dead fan, whatever you want to call it. I mean, and I love the references. There's so many references to the TV show. I actually really, really enjoy the remake pages that are referenced here. All the hidden scriptures, the messages. Don't read this book. Don't say the words. It's just fun, man. It's fun to flip through this thing. There's quite a few pages here that I'm looking at that I'm honestly not going to show because it's pretty gruesome and it's pretty adult, I guess you could say. But I mean, this is really cool. I mean, this is, I'll just cover this side, but there's some references there of a couple monsters from the TV show there. That's a famous page that I think every Necronomicon should feature. I'm covering the other side because of, I really, really don't want to get them demonetized on here, which is really hard to do when you're talking about Evil Dead. There's another one. I mean, here's towards the end of season 1 of Ash versus the Evil Dead. I mean, those things crawling out of the cellar, the fruit cellar. I could talk about this thing all day. This thing is fantastic, but I just want to share it with you guys. This is a prop that is truly dear to my heart. Huge Evil Dead fan. Been a fan since I was a kid. First time I saw Army of Darkness. I saw Army of Darkness when I was a kid. My father showed it to me. I thought it was one of the greatest films I ever seen. Then from there, he was like, well, now you got to watch Evil Dead. And I watched Evil Dead, the original Evil Dead first, which as practically a preteen was not a good idea. But I became a fan. I thought it was so scary that I loved it. To this day, it's a huge, huge important film, I think, in horror history. And then Evil Dead 2. First time I saw Evil Dead 2, forget it. Evil Dead 2, to this day, is probably my top 3 horror films ever. It's my all-time favorite. Dude, there's nothing about that film that's wrong. There's nothing about that film that could be changed or that should be changed. And, in film school and in college, it's funny because there's actually a few colleges across the country who, one person, they took a 4-month course studying Evil Dead 2 because of its script, because of its cinematography, because of its style, but everything about it. It's probably the most unique horror film ever made. It's just fun, man. I can sit here, I can talk about it all day long, but I'm trying my hardest to not make videos that are a half hour long anymore, or 45 minutes long, or 50 minutes long. Trying to steer away from that the best that I possibly can. There's actually stuff all over the table from this book. It's actually, burnt paper and pieces of burnt pages are actually all over the table because of this guy. But yeah, this is a mystery. If anybody has any reference or has an opinion or a theory about who made this book, please tell me. Please share it with me. I'm dying to know because this is probably, this is such a great addition to my collection. I couldn't be happier. This was going to be a part 2 of a Trick or Treat Studios remake of a Necronomicon. Ends up being an Alfred Hitchcock mystery, if you will, of who the hell made this book. We don't know. But I love it. I cherish it. It's definitely going to be in my collection forever and ever, rather than selling it off. And whoever bought that book, I hope you're enjoying it to this day. But thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, the whole 9 yards.